In this video we have everything you need to know about OP12 Kuzan, covering the playstyle of the deck, how fun the deck is, the key cards, being the utility and the reason for being in the deck, how much this deck will cost, the meta viability of the deck and the tier, the difficulty of the deck to play. Then we cover every single matchup, giving advice on whether to go first or second, and then slight advice on how to approach the matchup. Now for the playstyle. Kuzan, blue leader, 5 life, 5000 power, special with the navy type, with the ability when your navy type card's abilities cause you to discard cards from your hand, draw a number of cards equal to the amount discarded. This is not as much text as the other leaders, and this effect is rather basic. So pretty much this deck revolves around using cards, which for their effect, require you to discard one or more cards. And in this deck, that requirement is negated as you draw cards equally to the ones you discarded, so you really never go down in hand due to those requirements. This deck plays with a stronger curve of going second, with a second win rate on average of 53.2% and going first of 44.68% on average. We will go into the key cards in a second, where I will say how the curve of the deck works, but going second is by far the strongest, as the curve is so defined and you get so many big bodies out with great effects then. To conclude the playstyle, this deck is a very bulky and safe feeling deck, with a very established curve, incredibly consistent and draws a lot of cards, and is a very strong pick for OP12. So now onto the key cards. We'll start off with the Tashigi Searcher. So on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal one navy type card other than Tashigi and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. Essentially just a consistency piece, a searcher, does what it says on the tin. And next we have another consistency piece, but this one is a bit more insane. Sengoku. 3 cost, 3k power with 1k counter. On play, you may trash one card from your hand. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 2 navy type cards other than Sengoku and add them to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So on your 3 or 4 on turn, you can play this, discard 1 card, get 2 cards you need, and then draw 1 card back off leader effect. So essentially you go +2 in hand after playing this out, and get 2 cards that may really help you. This card is a great card, especially early game to set up your later game plays, and is an essential card for Kuzan. Next we have Hina, a 2k counter, 3 cost, 3k power. Activate main, you may rest this character and trash 1 card from your hand. Up to one of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 4 or less cannot activate blocker during this turn. Essentially just an emergency card, so when you're going for game, and your opponent has a cost 4 or less blocker, it'll not be able to block with it. Examples of this are the 4 cost trapper from OP10, or any other trump blockers. So this can be a very useful card when going for game. Next we have Pudding. Obviously we all know what Pudding does. On play, your opponent returns all cards in their hand to their deck and shuffles their deck, then draws 5. This 4 cost 4k power with 1k counter card can really punish decks that like to get cards in hand, especially in the mirror, so whoever can Pudding the most in the mirror kinda wins. Next we have Borsalino. 4 cost 5k power with 1k counter. Once per turn, if this character would be removed from your opponent's effect, you may trash 1 card from your hand instead. Opponent's turn, if your leader has a navy type, this character gains blocker and plus 1000 power. This is essentially just the OP2 Borsalino, but with further removal protection. So if you try to remove it, we'll just cycle a card. Very sticky card, as the OP2 Borsalino could be bot decked, but this one can't be. And with removal being a bit more prevalent in this set, this can be a great card early game just to slam down and forget about. Next we have Suru, another 2k counter, 5 cost 4k power. On play, you may trash 2 cards from your hand. Your opponent returns one of their characters to the owner's hand. This is a very interesting card, as if your opponent is, let's say, an Enel, who plays 1 card a turn, that's really big. You can just play this and they'll have to return that to their hand. A 2k with really interesting use. This card can have some great utility against those Enel or Shanks type decks. Next is Zephyr, our final 2k counter, 5 cost 5k power. On play, trash 2 from your hand. Activate main, you may trash this character, return up to 1 character with a cost of 5 or less into its owner's hand. This is like Suru, but it's 5 or less and you get to choose it. So essentially, cycle 2 on play. And activate main, you do not get to draw a card as this is on the board. As all of the 2k's emergency cards with cool little uses. And yeah, it can be good just to remove the trump blockers if you go for game. Next is Jozu. 6 cost 7k power with 1k counter. On play, you may return one of your characters other than this character to your hand. Return up to 1 character with a cost of 6 or less to the owner's hand. For example, if you've played down, let's say, a Hina, and then you play Jozu, you can get that 2k counter back in your hand and remove one of your opponent's bodies from their board, giving it back to their hand. Jozu can be a very good card, regenerating your hand whilst also dealing with your opponent's board and developing a body. Also known as one of the best blue cards. And on the 6th on turn, can have such an important effect of getting ahead in the board state. Now onto the main navy package. Kuzan, 6 cost 8k power. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, this character gains +1 cost. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand. One of your opponent's characters cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. This card, mid and late game, is incredible. You can't be grab bladed if you have 5 or more cards in hand, which is great for the mirror, and the on-play cycling and stopping something from attacking can be insane. It is very defensive, so when played off this 8-cost Garp, developing 2 8k bodies and stopping something from attacking can be such an insane play, hence why this card is one of the best cards in this deck. Next we have Sakazuki, 7-cost 8k power. On play, if your leader has a navy type, draw 2, activate main once per turn. You may trash 1 card from your hand, give up to 1 rested Don card to your leader or one of your characters. This card again is insane, drawing 2 just as an on play, replacing itself and another card, and then being able to cycle and give rested Don to your leader. If you have 2 or more of these on the board, that's a free 7k swing and 2 free cycles. In this list it's at 3, I would recommend running 4 and taking out the grab blade like I just did. When played off this 8-cost Garp, 2 cards are gone from your hand, being the 8-cost Garp and the Sakazuki, and they are instantly replaced, hence why this card is so strong in this deck. Next we have Aramaki. You don't need this card, but I think it's quite good. 8-cost 8k power, activate main once per turn. You may trash 1 card from your hand and place 1 character with a cost of 2 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. This character gains plus 3000 power during this turn. When played off this 8-cost Garp, this guy can be a good blocker, and also gets rid of trump blockers, cycling a card, and getting 3k power, so it can be an insane attacker as well. This is quite a niche card, hence why we're running it at 2, but getting rid of trump blockers, as well as being a blocker when played down, can be defensive and offensive at the same time. And in this meta, there are still a fair amount of trump blockers, such as Koshiro being the most important one, so this card can have some great uses, and I recommend running it at 2. Now we have this 8-cost Garp, 8-cost 8k power. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, play up to 1 blue navy character card with a power of 8000 or less other than Garp from your hand. This card essentially just wants to play these 3 bodies, and late game can help you swarm the board, whilst also getting defensive effects of Aramaki and Kuzan and drawing cards of Sakazuki. This is the main card which causes this deck to have some great endgame plays, and for 8 Don giving 2 Don left, this can make good room for this next card, Ice Block Pheasant Pet. Counter up to 1 of your leader or character cards gets plus 4000 power during this battle. Then trash 1 card from your hand. With the trigger, you may trash 1 card from your hand, draw 1 card. The trigger is kinda meh, but can be good. Cycle your hand late game if you have no Don up. For the counter, it's just a plus 4000 and cycle a brick. Late game, this can save your life, and it's such a great survivability tool, giving this deck the absolute bulk it has. Next we have Red Rock. 6-cost events. With the main, place 1 character at the bottom of your opponent's deck. This is to deal with the big bodies, such as the 10-cost Kuzan, 10-cost Shanks, 10-cost Teach, you name it. Lots of blue decks have been running Red Rock recently, and this one is no exception. Just a good card for dealing with them big bodies. We have Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. 7-cost events, with the main of putting 2 characters with a cost of 6 or less at the bottom of your opponent's deck in any order, and a trigger of placing 1 character with a cost of 5 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Off life, early game this can be insane, and mid game, getting rid of 2 bodies on your opponent's board and helping you stabilize. This card is nuts, and one of the most annoying blue cards in the game. And with Kuzan, when you draw so much, just getting rid of 2 bodies and being able to go to 8-cost Garp after this is a great stability tool, and a reason for this deck being so insane. Now going on to price, usually in my older videos I'll go into every single card, but in this one I really don't have to because this deck is so cheap. These cards are like 2p, same with these and these and these. These are as well. Like all these rares are so cheap, including the SRs. This is like 30p, and same with this one, this is like 30p as well. Like this deck is ridiculously cheap. Same with this card, this is like pennies as well. Red Rock's also pennies. For some reason Grav Blade's a bit more expensive, but that's just the UK price. And as we know, UK card market prices are always stupid. So this card will be a little bit more expensive, and it definitely shouldn't be. But yeah, this deck at most will cost you £10, which is ridiculous for a deck this strong. So yeah, that's the price. Now for the deck tier. We know what has been banned in OP12 now, being the combo of Katakuri and Naimon in blue-purple Luffy, and this was our worst matchup. And now it has been made much better, and therefore we will see less of them, and likely more Zoro, who we have an actual decent matchup into. Kuzan is an incredibly good meta choice, as he has solid matchups across the board. His only issue is that he does struggle a tad more into decks where he goes first, as his curve is much worse. Overall though, I think Kuzan is a tier 1.5 deck, with the tier 1 being Green Zoro, Rayleigh and GP Luffy in my opinion. To play, Kuzan is a rather simple deck. The card mechanics are not too difficult to pick up straight away, the curve is strong and established, and it has great survivability tools. Kuzan is probably one of the best decks for beginners, I'd say, being so cheap, consistent, bulky and strong. To conclude the difficulty, this deck is not hard to pick up and play. Not hard to learn fully, just an overall great deck for beginners in every way, shape and form. Now onto the matchups. Here we will go over many OP12 matchups in no particular order, and I will timestamp the description and have chapters to make it far easier to find the matchups you are looking for. Here we cover Buggy, Blue-Purple Sanji, Koala, Blue-Yellow Nami, Black-Purple Luffy, Teach, Shanks, Yamato, GP Luffy, Red-Green Smoker, The Mirror, Bonney, Rayleigh, Kid, Enel, Green Zoro, Lucci and Sakazuki to finish off. And I am not covering Blue-Purple Luffy. As the ban list has affected it, we do not have any data yet. What I would say is that this matchup will become more favoured obviously, as it can no longer heal. Beforehand it was 38% going first and second, but now without the ability to heal and have 8 cost Katakuri, I imagine if we develop a very wide board as they can no longer heal, and early game aggro them down, I think this will become a very winnable matchup. If I have not covered any matchups you want to see covered, comment below, and I will make sure to comment as soon as I can and fill you in. Buggy, going first, 50% win rate, and going second, 51%. This matchup is a battle of the boards, as Buggy intends to develop a wide board and slam that 10 cost down, and we intend to develop a wide board too. Going first is Buggy's curve and second is ours, so here it doesn't make too much of a difference. For us, we are more bulky than Buggy is, and with the event Ice Block Pheasant Peck giving us great defense, and 6 cost Kuzan to stop the bodies attacking, we are far more bulky. Buggy will have access to Croc and Mihawk to stop us removing bodies from their board, and we'll have 10 cost Buggy to bottom deck our big attackers. Here though, my advice is to go wide with the 8 cost Scarp as usual, and the 10 cost Buggy only gets rid of 1 body. We can keep applying pressure as a 6 cost Kuzan, 7 cost Saka and 8 cost Scarp are all 8k bodies. Going wide with these big swings is the best option against Buggy, and with Pheasant Peck being able to keep us and our board alive, and over time we aim to win the battle of the boards. Blue-Purple Sanji, going first 48% and going second 57%. Sanji's game plan is to fill his trash and use as many events as possible to buff the 3 cost Sanji and 4 cost Reiju and deal with our board. He can easily deal with 4 and 5 cost bodies, and late game is extremely tanky with Gum Gum Giant and Konkasei helping him stay alive, but Sanji struggles to deal with the bigger bodies like Kuzan, Saka and Garp. In this matchup we aim to have a stronger late game, because Sanji can't deal well with a wide and tall board. Getting to go second is key, and swing 6k at Sanji as his deck doesn't run too many 2ks. You can red rock the Reijus though, and make sure the 3 cost Sanji can't attack with the 6 cost Kuzan. In short, go wide and tall as soon as possible and try to grind it out. Koala, going first we have a win rate of 36% and going second 58%. Here this is a very go second matchup. Both of our curves going second are far stronger than first, hence why the going second win rate is so much higher. Here we do what we normally do, go wide and tall. But here we have to worry about the 6 cost Robin ripping cards from our hand, as we have such a big hand usually. Koala aims to rip cards out of our hand and punishes for playing 8 costs and characters off effects. But luckily for us, 8 cost Garb is the only way this effect procs, and as we are so bulky we don't mind this too much. In short, play your normal curve, 6 cost Kuzan into 8 cost Garb, as Koala struggles to deal with these wide boards. Interacting with Koala's board, we can use Red Rock to get rid of the bigger bodies, and so the 6 cost Kuma doesn't help them heal too much, and from then on, survive with Pheasant Peck. Next is Blue-Yellow Nami, going first win rate of 44% and going second of 56%. Same with Koala, both curves are going second. Nami is a deck that likes to keep a big hand size and deal with our board with cards like Nojiko, Jozu and Zeus. Here we plan to go second, play 4 cost Borsalino so it can't be removed, then 6 cost Kuzan which can't be bounced by Jozu, as he gains costs with 5 or more in hand. Then 8 cost Garp, as Nami will not be able to deal with this board easily. We are incredibly bulky and so is Nami, however we have the tools to go far wider and have Pheasant Peck for defense. The aim is go as wide as possible and have an uninteractable board as usual, and avoid 4 cost pudding. Next is Black-Purple Luffy with a going first win rate of 44% and second 47%. This is an unfavoured matchup but not by much, and going second is preferred. We aim to play on our normal curve, playing Borsalino instead of Cavendish as he can't be removed, then our standard 6 cost Kuzan into 8 cost Garp, and that curve again is so hard to deal with for so many decks including this one. 6 cost Kuzan prevents the 6 cost Luffy from attacking and preventing the Black-Purple Luffy from becoming a 7k base leader, which really does help. We can deal with their board with Red Rock too. If they play one of those Luffys or an 8 cost Kata, we can deal with it with that. Overall, this again is a rather standard matchup for us playing on our second curve, and late game leaving 2 done up for Pheasant Peck, as the 3 cost Chopper can come out of nowhere and rest at dawn. Next we have Teach, with the going first win rate of 47% and second of 50%. Here, Teach stops all of our on plays so we can't go as wide as we'd hope quickly, and Modern Teach is more removal based so we'll try to remove all of our bodies. Graveblade and Red Rock are your best friends here for sure. Most of our deck are on plays though, so we just gotta play our big bodies and hope they don't get removed. Kind of the standard way to play into Teach really, but the stats say 50-50, but in my opinion this is far more Teach favoured. There isn't too much control we have, just play bodies and hope they stay. Shanks, going first a 32% win rate and going second 47. Here there is a big disparity into first and second, but very good reason. Both of our curves are second, but Shanks has a far better going first curve than we do. Shanks will try to remove our bodies with Rayleigh and Beckman as usual, and slam that 10 cost down ASAP. Here we go as wide as possible and use our natural bulk to our advantage, with Red Rock being crucial to getting rid of that 10 cost Shanks. This overall is unfavoured though, as Kuzan does suffer to removal a fair bit. So pretty much try and control the board with Red Rock and Graveblade and go tall and as wide as much as we can. Next is Green Purple Luffy with a going first win rate of 30% and going second of 42. Green Purple after Ballast is definitely our worst matchup. They go very wide and very fast, quicker than we do, and also have stage to buff their bodies to avoid Graveblade. Here going second is pretty crucial for us to be able to play on curve, as 6 cost Kuzan stopping an attack and Garp helping us go wide and survive is incredibly crucial. Just surviving until late and going wide is the aim. Just be aware though, the modern GP can rest your Don and blockers with Dead Man's Game, but even if you do everything perfect, GP is so strong now and is so hard to deal with, so there might be nothing you can do. Red Green Smoker, going first of 43% and going second of 52. Red Green Smoker in 12 usually runs a slash package and has dropped 8 cost Kid, with the main cards being 8 cost Mihawk and Hody Jones. They are more aggressive in 12, with aggro combined with resting characters and Don are really hard to deal with. Here though, Kuzan remains the same. Go second, play on curve, going wide and tall and dealing with their bodies through 6 cost Kuzan and Red Rock if there's no 3 cost Tashigi on board. Just make sure to leave 3 or more done up instead of 1 late game, as Hody Jones is coming to get you. For the mirror, going first is 41% and going second is 59. Like we've been hammering home for ages, going second for Kuzan is far stronger. And here is the same. Going second allows you to go wider and taller faster than your opponent on curve. And doing that faster than your opponent is the win condition in this matchup. So really you are both so tanky. Just be aware of the 4 cost pudding, as one well-timed pudding can derail the mirror. Next we have Bonney, with a going first win rate of 37 and second of 45. Bonney is an incredibly defensive deck revolving around our favourite 8 cost card. Here we do not have any power reduction, we only have Red Rock which can deal with it, but the 3 cost Tashigi stops that. Going second has such a high win rate due to the fact that we can get more 8k bodies on board before the Kid can be played, allowing us to have a stronger chance of clearing it due to the more bodies on board. Here Bonney likes to take life to have more cards in hand to defend the Kid later, so we can bluff the pudding or use it to make sure that that does not happen. It is crucial that when Kid is dropped, that the Bonney's hand is not too large, as the longer the Kid stays on board, the harder it is for us to get the win. Next is Rayleigh with a going first win rate of 42% and going second of 56. Both our curves here are second. Rayleigh going second likes to play the 4 cost Luffy out and go very wide, which early on for us, when going first, is really hard to deal with until 7 Dom, when we can play Graveblade, but even then, that removes 2 bodies, where they'll probably have 5 on that turn anyway. Rayleigh goes so wide, so fast and low cost, hence why taking away that curve is essential. We are really bulky, so have that going for us. And the 8 cost Aramaki can really help in this matchup too, bottom decking 2 cost or less. In short, take away Rayleigh's curve, survive until late game, and ball from then on. Next we have Kid, with a going first win rate of 33% and going second of 52. Here is the same old story I've been preaching. Both of our curves are heavily going second. Kid is also a rather bulky leader too, making characters into blockers. 8 cost Kid trashing our life as well as Basil Hawkins is so hard to deal with. For us, playing on our second curve is so good. Again, due to the 6 cost Kuzan and 8 cost Garp I have mentioned almost too much at this point, just simply play on our curve, outlast them with our bulk, use Graveblade and Red Rock to deal with their board, and go wide and tall as we love to do. Enel, first of 42 and second of 60%. Guess what? This matchup is another game of going second. We have so much going for us here, the 4 cost pudding being a constant threat to the Enel, as it is the biggest punisher to their strategy, taking life early and starving us, as the more life they take, the more impact pudding will have. Going second allows us to go wide and tall very quick, which is what beats Enel, and you can constantly ask the Enel how many cards they have in hand to threaten them with the 4 cost pudding, and bluff the pudding even if you don't have it. Master the mind games against Enel, and since Enel doesn't have Raigo anymore, going wide and tall is so hard to deal with, especially when we use Pheasant Peck and have access to Red Rock too. Absolutely abuse the blue cards, and putting that Enel to the Shadow Realm. Green Zoro, going first 53% and second 52. Zoro's curve is first and ours is second. The order doesn't really matter too much here. We 100% know what the Zoro will try to do every turn, so we can act to play around that. Going first allows us to take their curve, and on 3 play Sengoku to get a large hand and maybe get Pheasant Pecks. Then play what we normally would do going second, but having the cards in hand and potential Don up for Pheasant Peck to defend the swings into the characters, keeping our board alive. Then, eventually we'll have a tall and wide board, which is so hard to deal with for Zoro. With this tall and wide board developed, chump blockers like Maynard are so useful to make sure that they don't die. However, late game, be aware of Dead Man's Game resting the Pheasant Peck Don. Out of many OP12 decks, we have a great matchup into Zoro, hence why this deck has such a great spot in the meta. Lucci, going first win rate of 42% and going second of 47%. As I said before, Kuzan suffers to removal, and Lucci is a removal deck. Going second, we can play on our curve as usual and take away Lucci's curve, but it is still unfavoured as we do not have anti-removal tools in the current deck list that this data is based on. Gravblade to get rid of the lower bodies here really does help, and Red Rock to get rid of Jack and Tenkos Kuzan helps a lot. Put it simply, we just have to play our normal way, deal with the Lucci's board, with our events, and hope things don't get removed, as we can't really stop them from being removed unless we take in the 1-cost Rosinante. And going second, we do have a strong curve, as Full-Class Borsellino is removal proof, and we have Pheasant Peck for defense. Go wide and tall and remove their bodies as usual is the game plan. Sakazuki. Going first, we have a win rate of 48% and going second, 62%. Here we have our new favourite evil bloke back, Sakazuki. Essentially the same as Lucci, but blue. The only blue cards it does run, to my knowledge, are Houndblaze and Amano Murakumo's Sword. It is the same way we play into Lucci, however going first is far worse for them and going second is far better for us. We just play the game same way as Lucci, going wide and tall quickly, and going first, the Sakazuki struggle to remove our bodies much more, especially with 6-cost Kuzan gaining +1 cost. We go wide and tall and ball out as usual. That is all matchups covered to my knowledge. Please let me know if I missed anything. Thank you very much for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you later.